got a ride, but you can't ride in it? How you got the drive, but you ain't driving it? Tune in, I can get you right in 5 minutes. Hit subscribe for these rides, I put my life in it. I used to keep it going if the outside was clean. Now I'm grown and I put away the childish things. You gon' have to do a lot more than wipe it clean. I could give you all the tools you gon' likely need. So tune in, tune up, lock in. It's D Brooks, dog. I'ma give you real life game by the book, dog. Tune in, tune up, lock in. It's D Brooks, dog. I'ma give you real life game by the book, dog.
What's up, gang? It's your boy D Brooks. We're getting ready to do some vlogging today. Gotta go to the shop, clean out the Bronco. You know, I've been driving it to work. It's dirty as heck. Drive on a whole bunch of different job sites. And then we're gonna do some vlogging with Austin too. I mean, I may put that on this video, I may put it on another video. But we're gonna get the car cleaned up so when we pull up, we ain't looking sloppy. You know what I'm saying? So y'all stay tuned. All right, guys, so we are here at the shop. I gotta get it cleaned up. As you guys can see, all the mud, you know, all that's from work this week. All right, guys, so we are on our way and we are in a little town called Ashley, Ohio. And then we're gonna go to like Mexico. Okay, we're gonna go to Mexico. We're gonna go to Mexico to drive. Probably. You know what I mean? Probably gonna drive to Mexico. And then I'll cut you guys back on for that. But yeah, we're gonna go to Mexico to drive. I'll cut you guys back on for that. And yeah. Food truck down here. Oh boy, this place trying to pick up. I've had that place before. 14. Let's go. Police action. All right. Daddy's caddy. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's funny.
That was my girlfriend bet that I wouldn't put it on there.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's funny. Yeah.
But yeah, this one's got like the full carbon package, and they had the option with the with the Recaro seats or without the Recaros.
Hold on. Do you want to be on camera this time? I mean, some people just want their shit on there and they don't want to be on there. I'm gonna put you on there a lot more this time.
Yeah, it don't matter.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
so
this one's just it's got all the options. So it's got the Recaros, which some of them did, some of them didn't. And then, you know, it's got the carbon, and I think the extras was like the Alcantara and
oh
stuff.
yeah,
so it's got like the little bits, Alcantara bits and stuff like that around.
It's a nice feel too.
Yeah,
I like that
yes,
stuff.
carbon. Plus you get a little of the Cadillac stuff. Like it's like real leather. It's not like as plasticky as, you know, it's not like as plasticky as some of the other stuff.
Like General Motors typical. Yeah.
Like that one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like the earlier stuff. I mean, they've all stepped it up. You know, they've all stepped it up.
But
had to.
Yeah, but you know, it's.
Oh yeah, it's right here too, isn't it?
Yeah. It's got all the bits. The seats are heated, but I'll be honest, the Recaros don't heat. They heat enough. But they do have all the extra bolstering. So like these side bolsters, you can move in and out.
Oh, okay, for a wide.
Like if you were on a track or something.
Yeah.
Or depending on your size, like me, I had to move them all the way out.
Yeah.
To fit in the.
Yeah, your back is so wide.
So like those move out, and then your lumbar, it's got like all the fancy lumbar and extra stuff like that. But the interior, I mean, the interior is not like super crazy, but it's nice.
So you guys drive it?
I drive it a good amount.
So it's like kind of daily?
Yeah, so I either drive this or I drive that Honda Accord.
Okay, so depending on how you feel, do I want to dress up?
And
or?
I got a Ridge line. I have like a older Ridge line too. So if I want four-wheel drive,
then you have that to beat around in and stuff. Yeah.
Winter time, you know.
Obviously not that for winter time right here.
No. This will get put up unless it's like real nice out.
And these are rear-wheel drive, right? They're not all-wheel. rear wheel. So similar to like driving a vet, probably.
Not really though.
Not really.
It's a lot different.
A lot
And
different.
The turbo, like the turbos are way different, and the transmission's obviously different. This thing's really deceiving because I didn't realize it, and the tuner didn't realize it too, so we started researching it. They run. There's like a place in Plain City. I think it's like Tap Out Tuning or something.
Okay.
And then there's another place that they basically specialize in these like LF4 platforms. I think they do. These things are like nasty drag cars.
Oh wow.
Like, they're on stock turbos. They're doing like sub 10s. They're like doing it in the 9s.
Yeah.
So, and power, like I guess has a lot to do with like the gearing and the trans, because like this feels, it made 491 on the dyno to the wheel once I did a couple things to it, but it feels, I mean, it feels closer to like 6.
Oh yeah, gearing makes a huge difference. I mean, you said you had like 410s in the vet, right?
Yeah.
Even before, I think we did a ride along before before it was boosted, it still felt nasty.
Right.
The gears make a hell of a difference.
And then when I went and got the Windows 10 and stuff done, so I always wanted a system.
Okay.
Because, in high school, it's like, you know what? I'm going to do a system.
Get some sounds, man.
Put a sub in.
Okay, you got a sub, you got some music in there.
Yeah.
So, what are you listening to? I got to know what you're listening to. You got the sub?
Variety. We're old now, so it's like
Some 50 Cent.
right? Lil Jon. You got maybe some like 3-6 Mafia.
Okay.
Kevin Gates.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But since it's got like the Bose system and stuff, all the rock music and stuff sounds really good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you can listen to pretty much whatever, and it still sounds.
And this just takes it to another level.
Yeah.
For sure.
And if you want something with some bass and the amps, like the amp is just a little low profile amp hidden down in there.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
There it is.
So,
Man.
but that sub kind of surprised me, because I told him, I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I want something that's kind of nasty, but I don't have a lot of space.
Yeah, I also don't want to shake my panels off.
Right. The nice thing is this car is not old, so it doesn't sound like it's gonna fall apart.
Yeah. Like the box Chevy I have.
Yeah. Like pretty much everything we used to put subs in.
Yeah.
Alright, this thing's gonna fall apart.
Alright. Man, I love the hood.
Yeah. They're all functional vents. Everything's functional. All that. Like, we've got all guys out here.
Yeah, I love the hood.
I think some of them come without the carbon package too.
Oh.
Some do and some don't.
So would they just not have that extra like chin spoiler?
A smaller lip on there.
Okay.
Like maybe a non-carbon one, like a painted plastic one or something.
So there's some mods on here.
Yeah, so it's got just the intake, and then it has a aftermarket downpipe off the turbo, and then it has so I guess these have a lot of issues, not a lot, but some of these have issues with the intercooler system getting air in the system, and so the intercooler, so you get heat issues.
Yeah.
So they Tap Out makes this really, I ordered it from them, it's pretty sick. They make this intercooler bleed system that you can bleed it every once in a while. You just literally tap the button.
Oh, okay. It's like, yeah.
Bleeds it.
It's like it purges it out.
Purges all the air out.
Yeah.
But,
Wow.
So just with it baselined like 380 something to the wheel, and then with the intake, it's a catted downpipe. I didn't get the catless because I've heard them and they sound like a little
Too ricey for you?
I just didn't like it, yeah. So I got the catted downpipe intake, and obviously this doesn't add anything. And then the tune, and it picked up 120 wheel.
The tune alone is so like, yeah.
I mean, so basically it makes like 500 around that.
And that's on to the wheels.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So that's fast for a car that you can just like turn the key on and go.
And since it's turboed, it runs like, if you're not in boost, it feels like a Cadillac.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a DeVille, because like, the suspension's different. But, and it's got all the modes, so it's got like your eco and your sport and your race. When you put it in race, the steering is heavy. It's got weighted, everything's weighted. You put it in race, you can go in and turn off all the assists, and you can turn off so obviously traction, stability control, and then it actually will let you basically, it won't auto shift it for you.
It will not?
Yeah.
It will?
So it will not auto shift it if you turn everything off.
Oh, so it'll stay in first and you got to paddle shift?
You have to paddle shift if you turn everything off.
Okay.
But otherwise, it will auto shift, or it'll just hit the limiter and drop your power down.
So obviously you have this V6 turbo, twin turbo, and you have traditional LS power.
Yeah.
Like, what do you enjoy? Like, I mean, that's obviously just raw, I feel like.
This is it's deceivingly fast. Like, I didn't expect it to be as fast as it was, but you can't beat the experience of that.
Okay.
I mean, that's still gonna be faster.
And it's 6-speed, right? So it's a driver's car.
Yeah. And a straight line, I mean, that's still gonna beat this.
Yeah.
But this, I can also, if I don't want to deal, that's a lot to deal.
That's
with.
a job.
It's
an operation.
Like, you gotta be like in the right mindset, and it's an intentional thing. Like, you don't go out to just go get coffee.
Yeah, unless it's cars and coffee.
Right. But you know, it's hard to replace that. Just like the visceral feel, manual.
Yeah.
The noise, the sound.
It's
sound, even the sound, just the sound alone is kind of gives experience.
This is like what America, like traditional racing, like that's that.
Yeah.
And pretty much like, kind of like the peak of it. I mean, we're in the peak of V8s right now.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna continue to see more improvement on the V8. I think we're gonna see more of V6 turbo stuff until they just take it away.
Right.
Until they just say, all right, you guys had enough with combustion. You got the hybrids coming along, which they'll stretch that out for a while and they'll just take it all away.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll try. Hopefully not in my lifetime, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see though.
I do have a couple other mods coming up this winter on this.
Yeah.
I got coilovers, so some better suspension mods for more traction, and some
Let me get you.
bead locks and stuff.
No, I was trying to hear you because my mic is kind of like, oh yeah, look we got somebody sneaking in right here. A little import action going on. The best import though.
When's the last time you saw a Supra?
Man, me?
It's a good looking car though.
Yeah, it is. I haven't seen a Supra.
Ever.
Like not like, I haven't featured a Supra, or like, I've seen them, but like not someone, I've never had someone say, hey, come really look at my car.
Right.
But yeah, exciting. All the cars are red today.
Yeah. He got his painted a couple years ago too.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's happening? How you doing?
Good. I'm Dwan.
What is it?
Dwan?
Dwan?
Yep.
Nathan, nice
to meet you.
How you doing, boy?
Good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Nice car.
Thank you. I thought this was going to have the side caved in. I tried to push a guy off the road right there driving like a freaking idiot, passing me in 35s. And I said, all right.
Yeah, I love these wheels. RPF ones.
Those are those new, Nate? Those are the same tires.
Rear tires are new.
They are new.
Yeah. I couldn't get the G2s that I wanted, so I couldn't get them in stock anywhere, so I went with what I had on.
The Nittos.
Yeah.
They're not the R series or whatever.
Okay.
They seem okay. It's not, I mean, you can tell with the difference in the tune that, I mean, they spin a lot more, a lot faster than what they used to, but it's still controlled.
Did they baseline it?
So it wheeled 380, a little over 380 to the wheels, I think is what he told me.
When they were done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they baseline it though? Like at the beginning, like what it takes?
I don't know. He didn't give me a baseline run. I know before it went to him, when I had it baseline ran for my own self, but that was before exhaust and everything. It dynoed on a Mustang dyno, I believe it was.
Which is always
Hard to make power,
yeah.
Roughly like 290 something to the wheels at that time, bone stock.
So we'll say it picked up at least probably 60 to 80 depending
Correct.
on the dyno.
Yeah.
And he just all they did was just tune it, right?
Basically, yeah. He put the boost cut controller on for me, and then he also put on the electronic boost controller, which I had put in the center console. That way I just flip it up.
Does it feel a lot better?
Yeah, it hits a lot harder.
Yeah.
I think I can still play with it a little bit, because I know Jared said I wish I'd have drove it stock before, really hammered in it and stuff before he did this. He said because it really, the difference in the way it hits now, as he said, it's just so much different.
Yeah.
I'd have liked to have a little more seat time, and that's what he said. So.
Yeah, and with the turbo, they can probably adjust like when the boost comes on and the curb and everything. So probably get boosts a little earlier.
Yep. And since it's on the stock twin still, it still comes in early, but it's funny because when it does hit now, it feels more like a single turbo's hit.
Yeah, you feel
It's like synced up a little bit.
Yeah, you don't have that quite the delay. I mean, there's delay, but when it hits, it's not like just pulling into that turbo. It's on. And so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, yeah, I mean, for the most part, other than that, though, I mean, it's just stock exhaust, aftermarket suspension, HKS. Trying to think what else.
Well, how long have you had it?
I want to say I'm right at 16 years, maybe.
Okay.
I think is what it is.
So was that before like the hike and like prices on them, or was it still kind of slept on?
I actually was looking for a 70 SS Chevelle, and this thing started popping up. And I'm like, okay, you must be putting this in my face for a reason. So I called the guy. It was $25,000, and it had 88, just under 89,000 miles on it at the time, and it was in Massachusetts. So we talked, and he wouldn't deal, and I was like, well, that's what I've got to spend is 25 grand. I said, so you're in my price range, and I couldn't find a Chevelle for them for just nothing out there.
Wow.
And this was in pretty solid shape, and so I flew out, bought a plane ticket, flew out there, looked the car over. We talked about a bunch of different things with it and stuff. He actually had come down, I think it was Virginia, and with a friend of his to pick up another car, and this one was for sale at the time. I think he said an elderly lady had it, or
Had this?
something, yeah.
Wow.
So it was like I'm maybe the third, fourth owner roughly. I don't know. It didn't at the time. I don't think there was a Carfax on it or anything. But I went based on his word, and after looking at the car, I was pretty solid. But he was telling me everything was legit. So we got the car and test drove it and everything, and I liked it. So I drove it back, and it was about a 13-hour drive, and it was solid the whole way. I mean, I never had no regretful thoughts at all buying it
still a Toyota.
at that point. Right.
Ultimately.
Right.
Right.
And it had less than, like I said, less than 90,000 miles on it. So.
You still get that Toyota reliability,
Oh yeah. So I went with it, and yeah, I've had it ever since. And I'd never done anything with it for a real long time. First 3 years I had it, it was almost a daily. I even drove it in the winter like an idiot, but it was a handful. So when I finally got situated to where I could park it in the winter time and stuff, I started parking it, and then I just kind of over time of nickel dimed a little bit here, a little bit there, and
You did all those lights and everything, and
yeah, I've got the brand new replacement lights actually at home in a box, but they're the exact same thing, and these have always been in real good shape. So I was like, well, there's no sense changing them yet. So I did put the new headlights in, new front turn signal running lights, but basically everything I've done to the car is putting it back to stock. As far as, I don't want a body kit or nothing on it. I like the stock look. I want the sleeper kind of look outside of knowing it's a Supra. I debadged the car. I get a lot of grief for that, but the only thing it shows on it now is that it's a Toyota by the emblems, but it was the gold package as they called it, and some of them were some of the letters and words on the back were a little kind of deteriorating from sun and stuff in the age, I guess.
So it had like the gold foil look, the gold package.
Yeah, that badging that they put on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was starting to come apart a little bit. So I saved it. I think both front stickers that were the limited edition version stickers. I do still have it. It's on the change holder or the ashtray, if that's what you want to call it, from that era. it still states all that and everything, and the interior stock other than the radio. So anything that can be badged the way it was is badged that way, minus the outside body. I just like the clean look.
Sleek.
Yeah.
Real sleek.
Yeah.
This is Chevy, I mean, Toyota's version of their, like, this is their Chevelle. Like, this is their most valuable car. I want to say there's no Toyota that's worth more than this. In my, I don't think there's...
Not unless you go back to, what was it, the 2000 GT, the 60s model or something like that, that sells for millions, you know?
Okay, so yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is...
In my generation, this is...
iconic car, I mean, for the most part, so...
What do you think it's worth now?
So I have a lot of people run up to me and they're going, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're driving a $100,000 Supra." It's not a $100,000 Supra. I got the automatic. It's not the 6-speed, so I've lost a lot there. It's, you know, the basic red. It's not one of the rare colors. It's also the basic target top. So based on what I've looked up, mileage where I'm at now, because it's not a garage queen car. I drive it. You know, if it's nice out, I drive it. So. Probably I paid $25 for it. Granted, I've got a little invested in it, but it's between $40 and $60 depending on.
Pretty good though. I mean,
if I had 40 or 60, I'd give it to you right now.
I mean,
but I mean, other than the few little odds and ends, it's mostly stock, which has to help the value.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, people want as close as possible to stock.
Yeah. If it was body kitted and stuff, yeah, it's. I mean, you cater to. You step out of the, what I would say is like the normal.
You get someone that really wants it already done like that, and then they'll pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, but for the most part, you know, you don't get your money back on any of that.
No, that's just the pleasure factor coming in. You know.
Yeah.
It was funny. I've never experienced it before. We went to the Triple F.
Oh yeah.
Trunk or treat.
Oh, you went out to their house?
Yeah, so not to their house. They had their cars at Mercedes Easton.
Okay.
So I met a guy in town here. I don't know. It's probably been a month or so ago. A young guy, and he was taking pictures of my car and stuff. When we walked up to it, we went to the park and take a little break, and when we come back, so I met this guy, and he's like, "Hey, can I Facebook you?" and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, you know." And so then he sent me a text here a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Hey," he said, "a good friend of mine, graduation pictures are coming up, and we're getting a few cars together. We're gonna meet downtown Columbus in a parking garage, and was love it if you could show up, because he knows you have it, but I'm not telling him that you're coming for sure." So I did, you know, I was able to go, so I went. And as soon as I pulled in there, it was interesting because I'm not used to that kind of a scene, but there was only about half a dozen cars or so. But what was interesting is as soon as I backed in there and stuff, it was like the other cars just weren't there no more. And everything, "Hey, can I pop your hood? I don't want to touch your car, but can I pop your hood and put my hand on it and look like I'm looking at the end?" That was one of his photos he wanted. So like while I was there, all his photos that were being taken was with my car, and I'm kind of, you know, I felt weird because there's other nice cars there, right?
Yeah.
So then they're like, "Hey, do you want to go over to Easton, because we're going to go do the trunk or treat," you know? And that was, I don't know, between 7 and 7:30. So we left downtown Columbus, and I followed them over there. And as I got a video on my phone, it's funny because it was something like you see on YouTube videos out west, down south, wherever the big cars are, or something that you would see from a movie. And it's like we come around the corner. He's in a Mini Cooper S.
Yeah.
Exhausted and kitted a little bit and stuff. Nice little car. And his friends were already there. So I'm following him. And as soon as we turned the corner, I rolled my windows about halfway down just to hear the cars and stuff. And all I hear is yelling start. And I'm like, what's going on?
People yelling Supra?
They were yelling, yeah, and I didn't even know it yet, right? So because I couldn't see nobody, I just heard yelling. And I'm behind his car that's louder than mine.
Yeah.
And so then we turn off the street into the parking lot on the downhill side, and it's a flood of people running. I mean, there was like 40 people or so that just come running, and they're all going, "Supra, Supra." And as soon as I'm pulling in there, I mean, they 180 and follow me right to where I parked. And then when I backed up, there was this massive crowd behind my car. "Rev it up, rev it up." I don't have a two-step on it, you know, but I put it on the Governor, and I banged the exhaust on it a few times, and you heard a couple people going, back up, man, it's gonna blow flames, back up. And I was like, they're thinking two-step, right? And I'm laughing, so.
You should have got a two-step put in.
It's coming, but so it was interesting. You know, it was really fun, and the guy that was with me, Brandon, that took me over there and stuff, he was getting a big giggle out of it, and he's the one that filmed it and sent me the little video clip. So we went up and looked at Triple F stuff, you know, and then when we came back down, there's this row of candy for Halloween across my wiper from all the people that were down there, had been looking at my car and stuff, you know, so that was neat. That was interesting.
We're considering getting the new Supra when they dropped it.
You know, I'm a car enthusiast. I don't sway easy on stuff. If it twerks my interest, I guess, then that's a good thing for me. I like the car. I'm not a fan of the BMW Toyota blend by far. I wish it would have. I was really disappointed when they finally released the version that they did, that it was the FSR1.
Okay.
I believe is what the original rendition of it was called, and I wish they'd have stuck true to that. Even though it was a BMW, I believe, too, kind of a conversion. But yeah, no, I like it. I've seen a few of them around where I work and stuff, and I think they have a better presence when you see them in real life on the street.
I saw one last week, and I've seen a couple of them. This is a white with black wheels and painted calipers, and it was slick.
Now, see, I haven't seen that.
It was nice, but I like white.
Yeah.
White.
Yeah.
I'm kind of into white, so.
It looks clean. It looks real clean.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, it's just like the black car, white car, you know, any of those kind of cars, you got to stay on top of them, or they really show it.
Looks
you know?
really good, or it could look really bad.
Yeah,
White's a little
big
better,
time,
though. At
big
least
time.
white dust doesn't show
Right,
up that
yeah.
bad.
And
Black
and
does,
dings
definitely.
don't show up as much on white because
Black,
of
you can't
the
do
reflection.
anything with black.
Yeah,
You
correct.
can't do anything with black.
Nope.
I
Just
pulled
keep
it out
it
of the
waxed.
like it's dirty already.
Right.
It was clean this morning.
Yep,
And
black
it
is
hasn't even
tough.
moved. It's just sitting there. It's just whatever comes off the road.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. But yeah, no, I like them. I think they're nice. Hopefully they'll do something a little different with them, you know, maybe in the future. I see they're coming out with the new version of the MR2 now and stuff, and if they stick true, kind of like the I think I'm saying it right, FSR1, I can't remember the MR2 numbers. It's something different, but it's, you know, it's their new version of the MR2. I think it's sexy.
Dude, I have so many times had saved on my laptop early 90s MR2s that had been turboed and modified, and I'm like, God, I don't want that.
Boy, I wish I had one.
I said, man, I want that bad.
Right?
Wow.
They're nice. They're nice.
Similar, like the MR2 gives me like Del Sol vibes a little bit.
What did you know? I had that turbo Del Sol for like a period of time. Then I
Yeah.
sold that to my brother, and it's not like the fastest thing in the world, but as far as driving feel,
It's fun.
you know, it's like you put some power in a Miata, it's gonna feel.
Souped up.
He loves it. He sends me snaps of it like
Dude,
all the time.
He thrashes the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Still going strong too, right?
Yeah, well, it's got the typical oil blow by that all the Hondas have, so they all smoke.
Right.
You know,
It's not smoking, it's not running.
it's
Yeah, that's right.
every boosted Honda's got it, but other than that, you know,
Yeah.
that's all right. And you can get, and it's just a B20 bottom end with a B16 heads, which you can get freaking anywhere
For now.
Yeah.
for now.
You know, you probably could get Camaros back in the day
Oh, yeah.
and Trans Ams, but little by little, all this stuff's going away.
Getting harder and harder to find.
Which is
You're
like the
right.
LS stuff, you know, you could get a junkyard 5.3 for like $200 before. I'm sure it's not 200 now.
Yeah, they're slowly becoming more and more, you know, extinct. Everyone's tearing them up.
Yeah.
Honda Civics, example.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't find a clean hatch. I would love to get another hatch. Like, I've always liked hatches.
Like one of the EG hatches.
Like an EG
yeah,
or
yeah.
even an EK. I would go with the
Say
EK.
DX? Isn't there DX hatch?
That'd be like the trim, the SI, DX, EX.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we had
that's,
one of them years ago, a little white one.
but those are
Hard to get.
rotted out or just banged up. 240s the same way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
but
Real.
And if you get one, there's some on Marketplace, some nice ones, but they want like 10K for them. I'm like,
we used to trade those things around like candy.
Right.
You know, used to throw those things around like candy back in the day. And
Yeah.
but I guess I just have to get out of my mindset of thinking the dollar is still worth what it used to be.
that's true also.
You're like, oh, that was $3,000 all day, every day.
Yeah.
And no, $3,000 is like not worth $1,000 anymore. So
Yeah.
it's just what it is. So
That's right. That's right. Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, this is really nice. I really like these wheels. I see them a lot on like Evos. Like people love, I've seen them on S2000s. It's just like a really good wheel.
I've had them on there for a long time. The big selling point for me was and I'm sure there's a lot lighter ones out there because there are a lot more expensive rims out there, but I think the advertised wheel weight was like 24 or 26 pounds a piece. I was like, man, that's awesome. And you know,
Yep.
they're not overly expensive.
Yep, RPF ones, super popular wheel. For a good reason, they're light, you know.
Yeah.
So you said these are the new lights?
The rear tail lights are actually the originals.
Okay.
Unless somebody's changed them, you know, that I'm unaware. The front headlights and the two front turn signal running lights are part of the new kit, which basically the kit's called a 97 Plus. This is the 97, so it was, I think there was some miscommunication.
So I was wrong. I didn't know what year it was. I thought it was, when did they start, 94, 93?
93.
So I was like, I don't know.
They look different. Did they look different in 93 versus 97?
Yeah, one of the big kickers that you can tell, if you just look externally, is right here. They didn't have this little vertical splitter in there. It was just the horizontal splitter in here. So that's one of the key things.
See that big intercooler in there too.
Yeah, I got an aftermarket intercooler in there now, and piping, and
Yeah.
I'll pop it and look at that too.
Do you ever take the top off at all?
I used to. I haven't for a long time. We've kind of gotten into Jeeps,
Okay.
and I ride motorcycles too. So
You
when
get
I
enough
really
sun
feel
time.
like I need the sun or the wind, and so it's, as you can see, it's basically all the stock stuff. I changed the radiator, obviously intercooler. Age got the original radiator.
Like
The
this.
piping to the, yeah, it might be a little toasty. The aftermarket, just basically the air box and stuff. I am trying to stick true to the super community world of the era. Everything that I'm doing is stuff that used to be, you know, when the 800 horsepower wheel horsepower Supra was like the king of the street, so to speak, back in the day. I'm building it around that because that's my goal.
In that era.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my goal. I've got that kind of stuff. It's probably updated, but I'm still, you know, I'm running the HKS adjustable suspension. You know, I'm running anything that's HKS that was known to be good. I'm running that. The intercooler is the Gretti 3-row intercooler that was really popular for the 800 horsepower builds. Paid a little bit more for it, but I like the look and style and the sound that I've got out of the car based on what I remember for that time frame.
So is that like the import tuner era when we were
Yeah.
looking at the magazines? Remember we used to look at the magazines?
Yeah.
I don't think we get magazines anymore. Is that a whole dead industry now?
I know there's some stuff out there, but not like what we grew up with.
Yeah.
It's a little different now. I have seen a Supra being shown in one of the magazines before, but yeah, it's definitely more modern versus the era of when we were doing this stuff. But
Yeah. I love the 2JZ. So there's a lot of 2JZs that are not turboed. I had one. I had the SC.
okay, yeah,
The SC300, I believe.
There's
yeah.
one in the Lexus too. Wasn't
Yeah, it was the Lexus
Yeah.
SC, and
The 400 maybe even had it, didn't it?
that was the V8.
Okay,
That was the
when they
V8.
changed to the V8.
But even the non-turboed car was fun to drive. You know, it was cool, but I couldn't imagine the twins on there. And now, like, I know you're keeping it kind of like old school with the mods. With today's technology, if you wanted, you know, the fuels that we have available now and the turbo timers that we have and all the tuning alone, the computers,
Oh, yeah.
you can get
the timing you can add, and they can do it safely. They couldn't do it safely before. Now we can really push.
traction, boost by gear, all this stuff.
Yeah.
You can do.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't really do that stuff with supercharged cars, though.
Mm.
So, not at least not like that, because it's all belt, you know.
It's always there.
So,
Gotcha.
but
Or your Pro Charger to, can you bleed off boost in certain gears and bring it all
no,
back
it's
in?
all But since it's centrifugal, it builds with RPM.
Okay.
So it's a little more like a turbo in that
Okay.
sense. But that helps with traction, right? In between gears, it drops boosts a little bit.
Yeah.
In those light cars.
Yeah, because like even this being an automatic, they have electronic wastegates now. So it knows when you're getting ready to go all the way up into RPMs, they're gonna let some of that boost off, so you save your transmission. So like it's even got like safety in it.
That's another thing I forgot is I did do the blow-off valves on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the CTS, ATS.
The ATS, yeah.
Oh, I bet that sounds good.
Yeah, so they had an option where you could vent, because it actually has, and I could be butchering this, but it actually recirculates some of the air.
Okay.
The way the system works. So you could do with the aftermarket ones, you could vent more of it to atmosphere so you get the sound, because stock it was like
Very minimum sound.
Because the Cadillac.
That's how that was.
Right,
stock.
they made it quiet. But I did like a 50-50 vent, so it recirculates 50 and it vents 50, so now you can hear all
some
the-
noise,
all
yeah,
the
for sure.
And then of course the intakes help with the induction noise.
Big time.
Like this actual.
You can hear
Yeah,
the
I like
spool.
that noise.
You hear the spool, and then you can hear the wastegate. I'll tell you though, well, that's got that. The
that
the
thing's
wastegate on the van is
ungodly.
like.
Yeah, it's ungodly.
You can hear it all the time.
Those,
Yeah.
because those things, unlike the turbo, they're 100% open unless you're in boost. So anytime you're just cruising, it's open. So like you're rolling through Delaware, and it's like, shoo, 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 past every car.
You can hear it. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy how much boost is taking over. I mean, just right here, there's 4 boosted vehicles.
Yep.
Back then it was like rare. Oh, that's turboed. Like now every car's coming off the line boosted, whether it's a factory, Bronco that's not for performance. It's just what they're giving you.
Yeah.
That's what they're giving you right off the bat is a little turbo. I mean, the turbos are this big though, probably,
Yeah,
but still.
The performance gain is just so crazy.
Performance,
with it.
fuel.
Yeah.
And then because the thing is, they're making the displacement so much smaller.
Yeah.
Because you're getting like a 2-liter, you get like a 2-liter displacement with, like that little Civic Si had that 2020. It was a 1.5 liter. Granted, they only make like
I had one like that too.
200,
Yeah.
low 200s, but they run like 19 pounds of boost stock because the displacement is like half the horsepower is turbo.
It's base, yeah.
Like the 1.5 don't make nothing.
It's all boost.
It's all air.
Yeah, big, and that's all they are, big air pumps, all these engines. But yeah, I mean, this is really cool, like seeing one and seeing it pretty much original.
Yeah.
Because by now, how many of them are original? People have bought them up. I mean, you say you bought one from, this was a female-owned vehicle.
From what I was told, yeah.
So they're going to that lady and they're buying them up and they're going straight to 2K23, TK23 and racing Vipers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the potential they have,
Yeah, big time.
In Lambos. They're racing Lambos. I mean, those vets are on there too.
Oh, yeah.
But you see Supras, Vipers, Lambos, they're all in the same conversation.
Yeah.
Yep. Like super cars.
Yep.
It's wild because this was like a regular consumer vehicle. Same with the vet.
Yeah.
And then now, it's still kicking in 23
Yeah.
with the new and great Corvette or the new and great Supra.
Right. And I've ran into, it's funny too, I'd say it was within the first few years I bought the car. I ran into some older car guys, and I was in my 30s or whatever, and these guys were probably already in their late 50s, if not into the mid 60s, and they were Corvette guys, I guess you could say, but they said that, in their era of cars with that time frame, in their little kind of car community, they called them the poor man's Corvette. But if you research values and performance, they were never a poor man's Corvette.
Right.
They outperformed, they overpriced anything about a Corvette.
So what do they advertise them at power-wise?
320 at the crank.
At the crank.
Oh, they were 320 back then?
Which
is a lot.
Twin turbo.
Which those, so those came stock with LS1, right?
Yeah.
Which they didn't make. I think they were advertised like 325,
Yeah, I mean,
but not till 97.
Yeah, because a
is
lot
when
of
they started.
a lot of the vets when these first came out were in the
C4s
200
and
range.
they were slow.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were so
200
slow.
Yeah, that was the
range.
old small block.
That was the LT,
Yeah,
whatever.
a little
But now
different.
they're LTs again. Now they're back to LT again.
No, completely different though.
different
Yeah,
LT.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Back into the generation, but they're rebranding it a little bit or whatnot.
So Dodge is doing an inline 6 turbo, I'm hearing, and so
Really?
is Mazda. Mazda's putting it in an SUV, but people are like really interested in it because it's an inline 6 turbo.
They make a lot of torque, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a luxury SUV because Mazda's kind of been out of the game for a while.
Yeah,
Like
big time.
really not a, like, I don't know, it's just not like a car that people are looking for. They kind of, oh, this is cool, they find it and they're like, this is nice, has everything I want, but it's not the Acura that I wanted or
Right.
whatever.
I drove in, I was in North Carolina at a work event and I rented an M4.
Okay.
That's what I drove all weekend.
Okay.
Which those are in, was a B50, whatever they are. And it was different.
Yeah.
It was different
The
feel.
BMW.
Yeah.
Okay, those are cool.
Which I think those are twin turbo?
I believe they are.
Some of them. I know
It
they've
was a
been doing
newer one.
turbos for.
If it was the M
Wow.
series,
It was a newer one. It was like a 18, 19.
Yeah. M series has usually got the turbos.
And he had an exhaust on it and a few other things done. I ran it on that Turo. Have you ever
Okay.
seen Turo?
Uh-uh.
Oh,
Turo
yeah.
is like basically where people put their cars on there. So
Okay.
it's like Airbnb for cars.
Okay.
So I rented it on Turo and drove that around. But all-wheel drive.
Okay, so
Oh, which is cool, but the thing is like it's way too easy to drive. I'm like, I
You
could
don't
be
get the active
anywhere.
hold.
I could be anywhere at any time and just punch the gas, and all the assists are gonna like
You just go.
drive the car.
You just go.
I'm like, all right, well, you know,
all this stuff is here, but I can't play with it.
Right.
right? Like,
Unless you
The
start
computers-
flipping switches or
yeah, the
telling
computers
them.
doing it.
turn it all off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But
You're analog with these, you know. It's all you.
With that one and this one, this
Yeah.
one's kind of computer controlled too.
although this thing, when I turn everything off, I mean, it blows these tires right off.
So it will give you,
I'll do-
it'll
you
remove
can
the
turn
permissions and
everything
stuff.
off. And now that the boost is turned up, it's like, I mean, it'll blow them off in a second, even.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's what you like to have. It's
I think
the
that thing
ability.
rips. I ran in
It's
it before.
It's a lot faster.
I'll bet.
I told him it gained like 120 wheel horsepower
That's nuts.
just from that.
And these are
from-
3.6s.
Yeah, because they did the intake, downpipe, blow off valves, which I don't really add anything, and then the tune.
Yeah, wasn't it just shy of 5 or right
It's 491.
to the wheels? That's nuts, man.
Yeah,
That's nuts.
that's
Where your technology
It
is
pulls-
a big
it's
ordeal
great. Yeah,
too
it pulls
versus
so
this.
hard.
You know.
This probably has those electronic wastegates too.
Yeah.
Yep.
To do the same thing with this, you know, you gain, but not at the level of this
Right.
because you got that.
So that's with them open.
That's the cutout.
That's with it open. Yeah.
Okay.
This sounds.
Sounds deep.
Yeah. You can tell there's something going on there. And then
Sounds
when
like a V8 to me.
yeah, then when you close it, it'll get quiet.
Oh wow, it's like a switch.
Big difference.
So that's
It's
cool.
like gentleman and like raw.
Yeah, driving through the high class area. Yeah, I got my nice ride, but it's quiet. you
Shopping
know?
for a house in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
yeah.
We don't want them to know we got cars like that yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's nice.
Yeah, that's real nice. That technology, and that's yep. With the flick of a switch, of course.
There was only ever really one car outside of the Chevelle that I said if the right offer came along, I would get rid of my Supra, and that was one of the CTSVs.
Oh yeah, which version?
I forget what, I want to say Gen 2, the one that had the real slope back, the 2-door, had the
Okay, yep, I remember
what
that
they
one.
call it, the sexy ass on them, you know.
Mhm.
But that one always, I don't know, a lot of people don't like them, but to me it catches my eye. And if I ever come across one that was pristine and and I would seriously consider it, but car wise that's about the only one I would.
Those are supercharged, right?
Yeah.
6.2 liter
Yeah.
LSA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad car.
500 horse. horse, I think, at that time frame.
Before the
It was the
Hellcat.
Yeah.
Before the Hellcat, that was the car, like
Yeah.
CTSV, and then Hellcat, of course, came out, and then you know,
This won't translate to camera, but just for you.
it's for us.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's got some knobs. You can see that. Hey.
Let's flex the window a little bit.
And that's just one. What is that, a 10?
12.
That's a 12?
But they're
Wow.
running a lot of stuff.
Hey, that's the party starter. That's before the party. Man, I need something like that. You know, so you're in the Jeeps. So it's very similar. There's the sound system in the Jeeps and the Wranglers are just non-existent.
Right.
You got 2 speakers on the dash and then like 2 up here somewhere that they just don't. But it's not for that.
Right.
But yeah, man, I miss having some good music.
Yeah.
I miss having some good music.
We bought the first one that we bought was when the Gladiators come out.
Okay.
My grandpa had, when I was a kid, had one of the original.
Stick your head in there.
All right.
You got to get the insides where it's at.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Look for his ass so we find him. Clips like a movie, but you can't rewind. My last bitch was cute, but my newest bitch thicker. Eating outside my bar and called on a sticker. Hooked that one up, bait on a fisher. Cook 'em up like fish fillet to eat
And it's
dinner.
clean.
I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't expect it.
It's clean.
Clips like a movie, but you can't rewind. My last bitch was cute, but my newest bitch thicker. Eating outside my
Oh man.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to Google tonight. Like, I'm going to Google right now.
And then with that factory Bose system, it keeps you can still hear everything.
All the highs and
yeah,
stuff.
you don't. It doesn't really. We tweaked it a little bit because when they originally put it in, they had to turn it down a little bit because it was just too much. And then, but also, I've been playing a lot more rock in there.
Oh, okay.
And then like seeing what because there's a lot of notes and stuff that you don't hear when I'm playing it on my shitty like big lot speaker at the gym.
Right.
I'm like, I didn't even know that was part of the song.
Yeah.
'Cause you
It's a whole different song
because you
to you
can't
now,
hear
yeah.
any of that stuff. So, makes a huge difference. Like you'd like this because you like. This would be throwback to our motocross days.
So you used to race motocross, right?
4-wheelers.
4-wheelers. Okay, you said that. Yeah.
I was never at his level. I mean, I felt I was a pretty good rider, but
There you go.
I wasn't at his level. I did have a guy interested in sponsoring me at one point.
Oh, yeah?
But then I had a bad wreck, broke my wrist. God,
That's wild.
try 5 finger death punch, wash it all away.
So you have an upgraded radio in here?
No, actually I don't. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not the stock. Because this will have some pretty good punch on it. It was in there when I bought it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even work now.
So you just really just enjoy the car when you drive.
I like my windows down, and listen to the little bit of the drone tone that I get. It's not loud, but it's just enough. I don't like the real high loud stuff anymore. I just like that nice steady little rumble when you're cruising down the road, and to appreciate what's going on a little bit with the car.
You hear what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the turbo spooling. Okay, that's
That's
coming
air
off.
intake. There's the blow off valve when I let off a little bit and whatnot.
Okay.
You gonna drive these things?
Yeah, I gotta go to Sheets. I gotta get a tough few.
Gotta drive them now. Where are we going? What are we driving?
Well, only 2 people can fit in either car. So I think
Figured you were gonna ride passenger somewhere.
yeah.
Well, you can go one there and one back,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm gonna ride with you there.
and then go you back.
Yeah.
Let's do
I
that.
got a better chance of making it. Making it back home. All right, so
This one's definitely not as roomy as that.
yeah. All right. I'm just glad we're not driving the Vet there.
Have you been in it?
Yes.
So when we get back, we got to hit the two-step though.
Okay, we'll hit the two-step when we get back.
Have you heard it? Yeah, that's a must.
Oh yeah.
Pop, pop, pop. So I was on 23 the other day. I had a guy on a bike fooling around with me. It's probably a 600 or something, but he pulls up behind me. So I downshifted. I was in 5th cruising. I downshifted to 2nd, which brought the RPMs up. It gunshotted. Like, it was loud inside the car, and the dude swerves his bike out of the way. It's like, sorry, dude.
So
I hope I don't cause you to crash.
that's what the guys at work. Every time I pull out of the shop, that section of the road's real fun. It's just got a little extra oil, I think, on the roads because of coming off the stop. And so when I turn off, I'll usually rip into it a little bit. And since it's had the tuning stuff done to it, when you go from 1st to 2nd, it revs so fast now, and I'm still trying to get used to I had the sound in my head. I didn't even have to look at the dash. Knew where I needed to shift or just bump the governor a couple times, you know. Now it's in it so fast, and it bangs real loud and almost to the point almost like a gunshot.
Oh wow.
And if you stay in it long enough, and a couple of the guys, when they follow me, when I first got it done, they didn't expect it. And so like they're cruising, and I went through it real hard, and it did the old bang, 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 you know, through the exhaust real loud, and they're freaking out like, whoa, what's going on with your car?
Yeah, I bet.
So it's a lot different in that regard too, I guess, but.
Envious.
Yep.
Like
Nailed it. A lot of times people think it's Navy US or Navias.
Nope.
But
Envious.
Nope, it's envious, yeah.
Yep.
I was always envious of these cars, you know. It's not it comes off conceited, I guess, but it was meant for me, not for reading at it, you know.
Well, if you're racing me and you see that, I'm sure you're envious then for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna hop in the car, guys. I'll cut you guys back on in a minute. Close this down. All right, guys, so ATS V. What kind of tires you got in here?
They are what are Pilot Sports, whatever this
Factory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is still like a regular car, just turned up.
Yeah, the Pilot Sports are a little iffy at this power level.
Okay.
But the traction control on these things are pretty, you know, it's decent.
It's not as sticky as the Vet tire.
Yeah. See, it won't even make boost jet all the way. It'll make some, but it has to be like 155 temp. So.
Does it give you like a boost gauge on there? Can you see it?
You can turn that menu on, but I think it's 155 or 160 is where it makes boost. Or full power. Because he's going to want to go around me up here. You know he will.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is a big straightaway. To say it feels like a jet.
Yeah,
it's
that turbo, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely different than the Vet. It's a different kind of power. It's like I'm on I'll have to get back to you guys.
That was also from like 60. So, you know, you start from a lower speed, you're gonna get a little more feel to it. But
I want to say it kind of feels like a roller coaster. Like the way maybe like I would consider it more like a motorcycle pull, like being on a sport bike.
This would be 150.
Oh shit! Wow. And of course, being over here is always crazier than being over in this seat.
Of course.
I had the 1.5 Civic Si for a little while. I had a 23 Si. No, you're good. So I had the Si for a little bit. It was fun. But ultimately, I ended up trading it in for the Bronco. I love 6-speed and all that, but I didn't want to do it every day.
Yeah, mine was a 2020.
Yeah.
They were fun. They handled really well.
Yeah.
They're fun little like windy roads. They're kind of like they have that initial boost you can feel, but they're slow after that.
Yeah, it's
like they're slow.
It's not like this. Yeah, it's not like this. It's a fun daily.
Yeah. Second gear is always fun.
Yep, second gear
was fun.
Yeah. It's a fun daily. It's quick, but it's not fast.
Right.
Maybe the Vet is a race car. It's not a regular car.
No.
It's not.
Like I said, you got to be in the right mindset and mood to drive it. Like if you're tired or having a bad day or something, you don't want to jump.
Then it's like annoying. It's like I just want to go home. Like, yeah, it's different.
Do a little lower pull.
Behind us. Ooh, he tried to get you. He can't get you.
Yeah, I let him get the hit on it too. But I mean, I've got like 100 more horsepower.
Yeah.
He's probably a little lighter than me though.
Okay.
And because traction's on, it was even on there when we did it.
So this is a 6 automatic or an 8-speed automatic?
8-speed.
Yeah, it's ripping, dude. It's ripping.
And it's got launch control in it that you can set and it'll hold the brake and launch, but the tires it don't.
Like literally when you let off the pedal, it's like you can feel all the powers coming from the turbo, you know what I mean? Like whoop, and then when it's gone, it's like back to normal reality. Oh shit. Like that.
Like where it hit boost right there.
Wow. Shout out to your tuner, man. Like, shout out to your tuner, because that's clean. It doesn't feel laggy at all.
And because traction's on, it was even on there when we did it.
So this is a 6 automatic or an 8-speed automatic?
8-speed.
Yeah, it's ripping, dude. It's ripping.
And it's got launch control in it that you can set and it'll hold the brake and launch, but the tires it don't.
Like literally when you let off the pedal, it's like you can feel all the powers coming from the turbo, you know what I mean? Like whoop, and then when it's gone, it's like back to normal reality. Oh shit. Like that.
Like where it hit boost right there.
Wow. Shout out to your tuner, man. Like, shout out to your tuner, because that's clean. It doesn't feel laggy at all. Guys, we're getting ready to take this ride. We're gonna ride in the Supra. This is the first time I've ever rode in a Supra, so I'm really excited. We're gonna take it pretty easy, I think. So if we get real crazy, we're probably in Mexico somewhere. But we're gonna take it easy. We're gonna take a ride in this Supra. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Should be locked.
It's tiny.
And as you guys can see, oh, there's an actual back seat in the Supra. I didn't realize they had back seats.
Well, if you want to call it that, it's a backrest support.
It's like bigger cubbies. I didn't know they made back seats in these cars.
Just going back same way?
Yeah, that'll work.
A lot of similarities to the SC, the Lexus I had. The layout, like this part,
Through the center?
it's kind of similar. Yep, the back seats are, man, that's not a seat. For insurance purposes only.
Yeah, correct.
I used to be, totally against V6 Camaros, V6 Mustangs, but now I find myself thinking about a 4-cylinder turbo Mustang, just for the novelty of like, okay, I want to hurt some feelings with a 4-cylinder turbo Mustang.
Right.
So, oh boy, we got some situations over there. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But here we are, guys, in the Supra. Man.
You want up more? All the way even?
Yeah,
So like my exhaust isn't this is what I like. You just got a nice little tone with it. You know, it's not, you can have a conversation. If I had the radio, you know, you could listen to the radio, or, and I've got some performance gain from it. You know, yeah, it's not a 4-inch, but I don't need a 4-inch right now, so. But I did go from the turbos back. It's a nurse spec. Took me quite a few months of waiting to get it from Japan, because you can't get them unless you get a used one from States. But I was, you know, I'm a bonehead when it comes to building this thing. I want all new stuff on it, so.
Hey, that's right. You know, you build it once, cry, what do they say, buy once, cry once?
Yeah. Not bad compared to stock, you know. It's a lot different, but the way the tune is, I'll kick it down in passing gear here up here, and you can really tell the difference.
Now, who is your tuner? You said
Jared Grabiel.
I can hear it lighting up right now.
There's it.
Oh, there it is. Wow. Wow.
Whereas before it would hit and pull, but it wasn't that like, okay, now I'm on. Before it was just kind of like, yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah, it was still a 90s car.
Yeah.
It was still a 90s car.
Now you can tell there's a little.
Yep. He's giving you the hit. Oh shit, he's beside us. Oh man.
Yeah.
I was looking for him in the mirror and I didn't see him. I said, he's right beside us.
That's a Mexico hit there, bud.
Oh yeah, we were all the way in, what, San Juan or something like that?
Yeah.
Yep. We got there quick, guys.
You hear how it was banging off. It just redlines so much faster than I'm used to now, and
oh yeah,
shifting it manually, it bites me a little bit.
And how do you feel about the automatic that's in here? Are they strong?
I mean, I've not had any issues with obviously stock, and I've only had this tune set up for a few months, and I've not noticed a difference yet. They claim it's good for, I've heard of people saying upwards of 5, but kind of the number was always once you break over 450, you gotta look at doing something with the automatic.
And is this automatic in the like 4Runners and stuff? Is this the same automatic?
You know, I honestly don't know.
That would be nice to know if there's like a surplus of them out there.
Yeah. Now here's just leaving it in drive.
Definitely pulls.
It's just fun, you know. It's a really fun car, and you don't realize how fast you're getting up there until you.
Now, what's that beep noise I hear?
You're hearing my well, so we're boosting more than it's liking.
Oh, it's saying overboost, overboost, overboost.
Yeah, and you're hearing it because it's right here in my center console.
Okay. The HKS controller?
Yeah, that's where the controller's at. The other one's actually at your feet, and that's the boost BCC, I think it is, the boost cut controller.
Okay.
It's like a fuel shut off, but and maybe it's actually the same thing, but MVP out of Texas is who actually designed this off of the original, I think the HKS that they don't make no more. So they had, they made their own version of it years ago. And they're again trying to stay true to the Supra build of old. I went with their setup, and yeah, and it works because when it kicks on, it almost feels like I hit the brakes real hard.
Oh, when the boost cut comes on?
Yeah, it's like it freaks you out until you get used to it, because it's like, okay, no, I'm off right now, and it literally almost kind of jerk you in your seat. We haven't done that yet, but It could happen.
It takes all the wind out of your sail.
Yeah, right now.
You're not going anywhere.
Nope. And if I look, see, I don't remember what setting he's got it on. We hit 18.9 boost on these stock twins, and if I on the right days, I'm assuming with temps and everything, I've had as high as 19.8 hit on it.
Wow. Yeah. So it's up there. Now what's your what was your highest boost before the tune? Like highest PSI?
I never ran a gauge prior to this, but I heard that they would kind of fluctuate, and I could be off on my numbers. I'm just trying to go off of what I kind of remember seeing people talk about. Was I think it was 12-ish to maybe 14 on the high side. I could be mistaken on that, but
yeah, there's just so much potential in these cars. It's wild. With the with today's technology, obviously you have the modern builds and you have the you know, the tuners build back in the day, like I'll call them the 90s tuners. But yeah, it's different. Because what they're doing now, I don't know, a 1500 out of these inline sixes, because they're bulletproof.
Yeah, and the guys that are building them for the strip, you know, and they're putting them in different chassis altogether, you know, they're getting 2,000 plus.
Yeah, I seen someone put one in a donk. The guy had a 2JZ in a donk, because they mostly do LSs in the donks. You know,
yeah.
Like small block Chevys and stuff like that. He did something different. He put an inline six. Now, it may not have been a GTE. It may have been a regular one that he converted.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a 2JZ turbo in a donk. It was different.
That's awesome.
It was definitely different.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, they I know they have had kind of an era of, can we get a 2J in here, you know?
Yep.
It seems like the LS1 or the 2Js is what you see a lot of if they swap stuff. Obviously, LS wins by a mile, but...
Oh, just for price and availability.
Yeah.
Yep, if we had 2JZs laying around like we do truck engines, it'd be a different story.
Right. I considered at one point actually even doing an LS swap in this.
Oh, no. No, you would have hurt so many feelings.
Right. When I first got it, you know, I was like, because I always come off of, you know, V8 stuff, Chevy stuff or whatnot. And I was like, you know what? I got to totally relearn the tuner game. I know the old naturally aspirated V8 small block Chevy game, and I seriously considered building a small block 350, just a nasty little 350 that I could run on pump gas, you know. And it was like, nah. I better leave the 2J alone.
That would be an internet breaker.
Yeah, it would.
Yep, that would definitely break the internet.
Yep.
Oh man, that's fun. That's fun. So yeah, guys, you guys let me know what you think. This is some MK4, is that what they call it?
Yep.
MK4 Supra. And yeah, it's been a ride along with D Brooks. Must be around cars too much.
We'll have to do these. I can't imagine. He's probably had enough of his cars.
Yeah.
I used to always tease him when I come over here. So you ready to sell me that car yet?
You gonna do that two-step?
Yeah, let me go.
While you do that, I'm gonna go check out the Trans Am over here.
Oh, sorry.
All right, guys, let's check out this Trans Am real quick. Y'all let me know, man. 6-speed car. WS6. Should we look into it? I got a friend that might be interested.